Well, I don't know if you saw it, but a really big article from Variety came out with James Gunn talking about the DC Universe. And one of the biggest topics of that discussion was the important one, Batman. So we're going to take a couple minutes to talk about what he said specifically about Batman, but stay tuned because there's going to be a whole series of videos about this particular article. I guess it's fair to say that Batman is probably the most popular character in the DC Universe, and he may be one of the most, if not the most popular superhero worldwide. He was part of that initial phase of announcements back in 2023, when we found out the new DCU would have a movie called The Brave and the Bold, and would feature a brand new Batman along with the Bat family. Now, the studio tapped Andy Muschietti to helm this project, and basically they were saying it would essentially be an adaptation of Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely's Batman and Robin, with Damian Wayne coming on board as a new young Robin. Now, since then, Gunn has talked a lot about how this Batman has existed for a while, leading to speculation that a lot of other characters like Tim Drake, Barbara Gordon, and of course Dick Grayson are part of this world already, with a fully established Bat family, which quite honestly is an excellent idea because most people do not need to see those origin stories and tales told again. Now, sadly, at this point, this movie hasn't happened yet, and I'm probably one of the fans that's a little frustrated. Now, what's even more frustrating is Matt Reeves' sequel, A Separate Batman in a Different Universe, has also been delayed. Now, there have been a ton of rumors about that film, but that's not what this video is about. We're going to talk a little bit about what Gunn said to Rolling Stone about why the new Batman has not had any forward momentum in his new DC universe. Now, when he sat down to Rolling Stone and they asked him about the Caped Crusader, he said, quote, "Batman's my biggest issue in all of DC right now personally, and I'm not writing Batman, but I am working with the writer of Batman and trying to get it right because he's incredibly important to DC, as is Wonder Woman. So outside of the stuff that I'm doing in the projects that are actively going, our two priorities are finishing our Wonder Woman and Batman scripts. Batman has to have a reason for existing, right? So Batman can't just be, oh, we're making a Batman movie because Batman's the biggest character in all of Warner Brothers, which he is, but because there's a need for him in the DCU, and a need that he's not exactly the same as Matt's Batman. But yet, he's not a campy Batman. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in funny, campy Batman, really. So we're dealing with that. I think I have a way in, by the way. I think I really know what I'm just dealing with the writer to make sure that we make it a reality. Now, all of this sounds really good to me, and in the same conversation, Gunn did confirm, and we'll do a separate video on this, that another project got absolutely canceled because the script was a mess, and he's prioritizing scripts being right before projects move forward. This is something that's hampered Marvel Studios, and I love that they're doing this and getting it right, but it seems like people's patience is starting to run thin. Now, one of the key parts of this conversation is when Gunn dove in and talked about one of the things with Wonder Woman vs. Batman is there's been so many iterations of Batman, it makes it hard to move forward with a project. And one of the biggest challenges is the simple fact that there have been so many Batman movies. Another Wonder Woman movie is easy to do. There's only been a handful, and Wonder Woman doesn't have a huge presence. But he points to the fact that so many of Batman's stories have already been told. If you're a fan of DC animation, this is something we talk about all the time. Pretty much every other movie in the past has been a Batman movie, and Batman has had so many live-action adaptations, along with the one they're doing now. Well, I do understand why Gunn is trying to find his lane and get it right. Now, the biggest thing I took from this conversation, though, was a big focus on the Trinity. He flat out said Wonder Woman and Batman are priority, and I'm sort of glad to hear that. It almost sounded like in the beginning when he first announced the slate that all these other projects started creeping in, and as they creeped in, they pushed out some of the important stuff, Batman and Wonder Woman. And it sounds like that's not happening anymore. Now, I like the idea that he's working directly with the writer, and I think this is going to be a theme we see with a lot of DCU movies, where Gunn is directly involved, helping steer the ship, but working with the creatives in a way that it's a collaboration and not really the boss telling you what to do. In any case, I totally think Batman is the most important character after Superman to kick off this new DC universe. It's got to be absolutely right, and if they flub up Batman, well, they're in big trouble. We still don't know who's going to play the Caped Crusader. Maybe we find that out for Clayface, but until we know more, I gotta know what you guys think. How do you feel about this reprioritization of Batman at DC Studios? And how far do you think we are from an actual Batman casting announcement as well as a release date? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Before we take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC news, and we want to bring you all the news truthfully and transparently so you're really in the know.